Mummy, 1999. I love this movie. I've seen it many, many times. It is a great weekend afternoon flick or sleepover movie. But just because I like a movie doesn't mean I'll spare it. With the remake now out, and yes, I've seen it, no, you should not see it, and check out my review in the link in the description. I thought it would be a good time to take a look at 1999's The Mummy. We'll start with some of the main characters. First up, Imhotep, played by Arnold Vosloo. Before being cursed and turned into the titular mummy, he was a high priest, but he got the hots for Pharaoh's mistress, and that just never ends well. Anck-su-namun, played by Patricia Velasquez. She's Pharaoh's mistress, and unhappy with that, maybe because he keeps her in full body paint, so he'll know if another man touches her. Or, if she moves. More in a minute, but let's jump right in. Why does Imhotep touch her? Why doesn't she say it was a woman that touched her, or that she brushed against something? Has she never accidentally smudged this full body paint? And was she already about to stab the pharaoh, or did she just carry large knives around out of habit? Is stabbing herself part of the plan? How is Imhotep able to steal her body and the Book of the Dead and escape all the way to Hamunaptra without getting caught? Is there just a pool of dark souls under this city? What kind of permit do you need for that? Why does bringing her back from the dead involve stabbing her again? Why does the ultimate punishment result in making someone a god with nearly unlimited power? We go back to roll call as we flash forward a couple thousand years, and now starring... Brendan Fraser is hilarious as Rick O'Connell. He's your basic dashing hero type, and he knows where the lost city of Hamunaptra is. Oded Fehr plays Ardith, who is a serious badass and way underused in this movie. He's part of something called the Magi, whose job it is to make sure Imhotep never rises. And naturally, they suck at their job or we wouldn't have a movie. But Ardith is still a badass. We also get Benny, played by Kevin J. O'Connor, who's your average comedy relief earlier on, and crosses to the dark side later. What battle is this? What are they fighting about? Am I supposed to care about any of this? Has bad mojo, why were they driving Rick towards it? Why does Imhotep have any power right now? He hasn't been released yet. Shouldn't he just be dead? Because Ardith doesn't kill Rick, this entire series happens. And last but not least, we have Rachel Weisz as Evie, who is pretty, smart, and tragically clumsy. She gets pulled into the adventure by her brother, Jonathan, played by John Hannah. He's a treasure hunter, and this time he's really found something. Were ladders really this unsafe? Didn't they have hooks on them so exactly this didn't happen? Who sets up shelves of historical documents like dominoes? And Evie does untold damage to priceless items and isn't punished in any way. In fact, she goes treasure hunting when she's supposed to be cleaning up. If Evie's so incompetent, why does she still have a job? Oh, I take it back, because she literally explains why. And then gets immediately smacked down and told that it's only because her parents were loaded. So I reinstate the question. How can she date Jonathan's map just by looking at it? And we're off to Egypt. If Jonathan pickpocketed Rick in a bar, how did he find him in a prison weeks and or months later? Why does everyone in this movie know about the lost city if it's considered a myth? Why does Evie start making a deal for the treasure instead of just offering the warden more money? And why does the warden believe Evie that she knows how to get to Hamunaptra? This is the 20s and she is a woman. Wait a minute. Rick says...
Lady, let me put it this way. My whole damn garrison believed in this so much that without orders, they marched halfway across Libya and into Egypt to find that city.
No, they didn't. Where did Rick get the backpack arsenal if he just got out of prison? And where can I buy one? Why are the Americans having a shootout instead of abandoning a literal sinking ship?
Americans.
Oh yeah, that's why. How does this sunrise mirage thing work? Kinda sounds like bullshit. Why does it matter who gets there first? The Americans outnumber O'Connell's gang 5-1. How do scholars have any idea where the book is if they didn't even know where the city is?
And then there was light.
The trick with the mirrors and the light is cute, but it wouldn't work in real life because the sun is always moving in the sky and the mirrors are stationary. How does Evie instantly know what room they're in? Why does the warden go off by himself? How does Imhotep reanimate the scarab if he hasn't been activated yet? Why does no one hear the warden screaming for several minutes? Why is Evie about to open the sarcophagus without checking for traps? And if the Magi want the explorers to leave, why have they followed them for several days and let them set up camp at the gate of Hamunaptra? After numerous people have died and they are under threat, Evie chooses now to get sloppy drunk and flirt with Rick? Oh yeah, it's because the script says so. I point out this is the 1920s, where a woman drinking at all would have been almost unthinkable. But to then get stumbled down drunk in the Egyptian desert with a strange man? No movie. That ain't happening. Why, after saying he believes in curses and reading death warnings, does the American royal smart person still let them open the chest? Oh, come on, movie. Benny freaks out and runs off because he's wearing plot armor. Why would you open a sarcophagus by standing it up vertically? How did Imhotep carve that message? Evie knows the Humdai ritual exists, and yet there's no record of its one and only use? Now it's Evie's turn to betray her royal smart person status as she reads an incantation spell out loud with no second thoughts. Why bother shooting at the scarabs? Why does the mummy stop chasing them? Why does Imhotep think Evie is a Naxunamun? We find out later she's Nefertiri, who Imhotep would also have known and would recognize. Why does Imhotep only take the guy's eyes and tongue and then walk away so the Magi can find him? Why does O'Connell think shooting something that's already dead is going to do any good? Why is Imhotep about to kill Benny when Benny left the room before the chest was opened and therefore is not under the curse? And how does Benny understand Imhotep's ancient Egyptian? Why is Imhotep climbing through the sand instead of using the door? Why does Evie think they can stop the mummy? Pause it. So many questions right here. Why isn't the blind, tongueless guy in a hospital? Why has he been left alone? How is he not in overwhelming pain or drugged unconscious? Why is he taking meetings with random princes he's never heard of? Moving on. How many people die in that meteor shower? Why is Benny separated from Imhotep? And the fact about cats comes out of nothing to save the day. I don't care if it's actually true. You gotta set that shit up.
For over 3,000 years, we have guarded the city of the dead. We've sworn at manhood to do any and all in our power to stop the high priest Imhotep from being reborn into this world.
Why are they sitting in a displayed exhibit to talk about what to do? We saw the curator's office. He does have one. Why does everyone stare directly at the eclipse? We all learned in kindergarten not to do that or we'd all be blind. Why does Imhotep suddenly need a human sacrifice to raise a Naxunamun? Why is the Egyptologist running through the streets alone? Benny jumps out a window and doesn't break both his legs. The mummy kills in public and we see no police appearance whatsoever. Also, all the damage from the meteor shower has completely vanished, and why does he start decaying when he kisses Evie? Why do they have to waste time going to read a tablet when this is clearly something Evie should already know? The Boyle zombies really can't tell Jonathan is faking it? While I'm at it, what is an undead mummy, who, if you look at it, is probably given their power by the god Anubis, why does he have control over the Christian 10 plagues of Egypt? While I'm at it, why does an undead mummy who gets his power from the ancient Egyptian gods have control over the Christian gods' 10 plagues of Egypt? Where did the car come from? Why does the curator choose to die? Why don't the zombies follow them into the sewers? How has Imhotep, who's traveling by literal air, not made it to the city and perform the ritual before O'Connell and the gang even get out of the sewers?
Oh my god. We're back.
Why does she sound so surprised? She knew that's where they were going. She told Rick where to find her. Why does Imhotep waste time trying to kill them? Why does Evie think yelling at him will do any good? There's clearly no one on the wings or in the back of the plane when it's crashing, and someone called Guinness because we found the world's fastest quicksand. Winston clearly dies of plot disease since no one else has a scratch on them. Why isn't Jonathan cut or bleeding after he's had a knife shoved into his arm to remove the scarab? Why does it take Imhotep and dust from one of the sacred jars to wake the first two mummies, but then those two can wake the others with nothing? And why are the priests entombed in the walls? What is the point of having all this treasure sitting in a tomb in a forbidden city? Why is Evie waking up chained to a table? What made her not be awake? Why does Imhotep need Anck-su-namun's mummy if he thinks Evie is her reincarnated body? Why isn't this book protected by acid like the last one? Why does Anck-su-namun's soul return to her mummy instead of trying to go into Evie if that's supposed to be her new body? How does raising Anck-su-namun make Imhotep become invisible? Why does he stop? He could stab Evie, complete the ritual, become invincible, and then go after the book. Priorities. Where do the guard mummies come from? And if they're Pharaoh's guards, why does Imhotep have any control over them? Why does Anck-su-namun take so long to join the fight? And why do the guard mummies have tongues when we clearly see that tongue removal is part of being mummified? So what if Anck-su-namun gets stabbed? She's already dead and not yet resurrected to life. There should be no consequence to her getting stabbed here. Imhotep forgets all about the book and goes after Rick. Why? And why is he about to life suck him when Rick is not under the curse? If the ghost chariot took his soul, why doesn't Imhotep return to being a mummy? And when exactly did he get his soul back? When did that become part of the plot? Why do only some parts of the city sink? Why are the scarabs still alive after Imhotep is dead? Why does Benny's torch suddenly go out?
Ah! Oh, thank you very much.
How did Ardeth get out of there? And has he just been sitting on a camel instead of trying to help? And our heroes ride off into the sunset. That's the end of the movie, but not the end of this review. Let's go back to the beginning. The opening shot of the ancient city. Reportedly took over 2 years to create. Well done, movie. It's beautiful. And the sweeping camera shot just gives the movie a real grandeur that serves the series very well. And even close to 20 years later, it still holds up. The shots of the mummy also took forever and cost a fortune, but they were awesome. Especially for then, and even for now, there is certainly a lot worse CGI being put out these days. I must also give a shout out to the music. It's perfectly appropriate and subtle. At no point is it overwhelming the movie or becoming annoying. And again, it's something that makes the film feel bigger than perhaps budgets allowed, and improves the movie overall. The cast is great, everyone does a good job. I'll give a special shout out to Patricia Velasquez because reportedly she joined the cast only a couple of days before shooting began, had to be naked the entire time, and covered in elaborate body paint that she couldn't smudge, and was also said to be the best at speaking ancient Egyptian. So, good on her. The script is a good mix of funny and serious, but they keep it adventurous and lighthearted throughout. Good choice there. Now for... We have a this far and no farther for Rick, who stops running at the statue of Anubis for no reason, since he could go around it and keep running. We have double winners on Stupid Smart Person, one for the Egyptologist, who opens the chest after reading the warnings about a curse, and one for Evie for raising the mummy. Yes, I realize she's drunk when she did it, but that is still a pretty dumb thing to do. We have an out damn spot for bloodless eye, tongue, and scarab removal. We have a Rumpelstiltskin Award for Imhotep, who once fully restored and more powerful than ever, fails at everything. I Am Supergirl goes to Evie. She is well educated, she wins the camel race, she has Rick teach her how to fight, and she tells him off when he locks her away to try and protect her. She fights with the Boyle zombies, and in the end, it's her brains that save the day. She's a good, proactive female character, and I wish there was a lot more like her in movies now. A Good Day to Die goes to The Curator. We have a Snorlax Award for the lazy writing of the Deus Ex Machina cat. We get a We Don't Need No Stinking Badges for no kind of emergency response to the meteor shower or the public killing by Imhotep. We get a Camera Vision Only for when Rick is holding the cat. He might be holding it below frame, but he's clearly facing Imhotep, who should be able to see the cat before the camera does. In the end, it's a good adventure rom-com, and it gets a recommend from me. I am Insane Lane, and that was The Mummy, 1999. Bye-bye!